Satnam, I'm Nirvair Khalsa, and this is Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan, and here we are in December. We're outside again, thank goodness, because it's so beautifully warm and sunny. So I thought I'd sit in this little forest with these beautiful trees as companions, and we can do the meditation of the month. How did you like that meditation last month? That was really something, wasn't it? That meditation for Broja. I had a really interesting experience with it, and that is, after a little while, I developed a little resistance to it, and that is that I knew it was going to be challenging after a while, and so whatever it was, I thought, gosh, it's hard to kind of start to do it because I know I'm going to be a little bit uncomfortable about halfway through. And then I realized two things. One, it's a lot like the yogi's Ishnan. You know, when you go take a cold shower in the morning, at least I do, it's recommended by Yogi Bhajan, you can't think before you get in that cold water, right? You just can't. If you start thinking about it, you're going to turn a little hot on or whatever. Or maybe you won't take a cold shower at all. You have to put yourself kind of on hold mentally. So I had the experience with that so I can employ that. But most of all, I found the benefits to be tremendous. It was just such an elevating experience in such a short period of time for balancing the upper chakras. One very interesting experience I had with this was the last day we practiced it, which was the day after I monitored at White Tantric Yoga in Espanola. And so I sat down, didn't think about it, and I put myself in the position. And I was like completely locked in with actually no resistance whatsoever. And the time went by just like that. Interesting effect. I'm still, I love to experiment. And so, I don't know, next time I do White Tantric Yoga, I want to see how my meditation is. But today what we're going to do is something that Yogi Bhajan taught in 1979, February 26th. If you have an opportunity, go to Yogi Bhajan's library of teachings and look this lecture up, but especially listen to the audio. This was pre-video days, because he was very light, he was interacting with the students, he was making jokes, and he was telling these fantastic stories. What he started off with in the lecture was, he said, here we're talking again about masters and mysteries, which is wonderful, talking about the relationship of the self to the unknown. And he told 3 really good stories during the lecture itself. One of them, the very first one was this student went to her master and apologized for an action. She had done something. And the master immediately said, well, you've done what you've done. You have to come back many times, to work this out. And she said, okay, this is great. Thank you very much for that. So she went and talked to another fellow student later. And she recounted the story of the interaction with her master. And he said, oh no, he's fixed you for good. He says, you're going to have to come back for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes to work this thing through, this action that you did. And she said, I didn't think about it that way. I just thought I got a chance to be with him again and learn more. I'll go ask him. So she went back to her teacher and asked him about it. And he said, well, I said one thing and you heard another. This is very typical. And I said what I had to say in spirit, and you heard what you had to hear in spirit. And whatever you heard is what is sealed by the universe. And so I thought that was fantastic. It was very interesting to kind of contemplate these things. There's a couple other great stories in there. And so the meditation itself is something that works on the pituitary gland, the master gland. And it's called invoking a meditative state, which is really kind of fun and interesting, and especially good at this time of year. Because here we are in the last month of the year, And we're going to the dark time of year, to winter solstice. And it's a really good time to really invoke that meditative part of yourself, to go deep within, to really work through some of these things that have come up during this year, to get yourself and refreshed for the next whole light cycle after winter solstice. To forgive yourself, to maybe forgive other people, to actually get to that state of deep meditative neutrality, meditative mind, so that you're prepared for the next light cycle and the next coming year. And so, works on the pituitary. He talks about the spin of the pituitary, which we'll be figuring that out probably for dozens of years, figuring out exactly what he meant by that. But the impulsation of the pituitary as it relates to the pineal gland, and that connection between the two, he talked about in the very early days as the golden cord, that mystical golden cord, where it invokes the higher mind states and the higher chakras. And so I found by practicing this meditation, which is considerably simpler and not quite so challenging as the one we did last month, is that you automatically put yourself in the process of doing the meditation, and afterwards you really get into this great meditative space. So, first of all, of course, do the tune-in mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Always get in the habit of doing that for your own personal practice. I know you do it in the Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan classes that you've attended. But if you get into the habit, it's really the complete thing. Start with the tune-in mantra, end with the sunshine song to bless other people and to share the energy. And it really is a complete sadhana, a complete practice. So no matter when you practice, do the tune-in mantra. And then you're going to have your hands in two mudras. You're going to have the right hand in a fist. And he said the upper arms are parallel to the body, so it's going to be held up by the sides. And then the left hand you're going to have down with the palm flat and facing off just directly out to the side. And that you'll hold this position steady with neck lock. And you're going to have the eyes gazing at the tip of the nose. You're going to inhale deeply. You're going to exhale completely. And you're going to hold your breath out, suspend the breath out for as long as you comfortably can. Right? He said to maximum, but as long as you comfortably can. And then take another deep inhale and exhale and hold the breath out. And this comes from the great book, Prana, Prani, Pranayam. And so you can look it up. We'll have a PDF edit. Right at the end, what you do is you take 2 quick deep breaths like this. Then you suspend the breath in for 10 seconds. And then you exhale, and you really stretch up at the end. Stretch up, fingers wide, straight up, and really stretch up through the spine and just hold that. And then I recommend that you just sit in that space and meditate afterwards. Now, a few tips about practicing it. Even though he said you want to hold the breath out, suspend the breath out for the maximum, don't overdo it. Otherwise it becomes a body thing, all right? So you're kind of struggling then to control your inhale afterwards. The idea is that you want to bring yourself deeper and deeper into the meditative state. And so I found myself by practicing it is that all of a sudden I don't even actually have to think about when I need to take an inhale after suspending the breath out. All of a sudden it's like something inside me says it's time, all right, to do that. And so I'd recommend that so that you can really dive deep into yourself and just enjoy this meditative state. Stimulate your entire glandular system through the pituitary gland. So this month also, what we're doing at KRI is we're working with the chakras. And so we're doing a fundraiser for the Library of Teachings, Yogi Bhajan's Library of Teachings, by talking about the chakras. Every 3 days, especially on our Facebook page, we're going to give you a lot of information and meditation about the chakras. And so we're going to go through all 7 chakras from the 1st of December to the 21st of December. And we're asking people to help to donate money. But there's a lot to learn and a lot to experience with this particular activity we're doing at the end of the year. So tune in to us on Facebook. I'll enjoy practicing this meditation with you. One thing I'm very grateful, I know there's tons of videos out on YouTube, and you probably have your own teacher that you love. I really appreciate that you practice with me, because really, when it comes down to it, it's for me, and the fact that I get to share it, with you is a really wonderful thing for me. So thank you for inspiring me to share and practice these teachings, which I love so much. And enjoy this end of the year, the deep time of this winter solstice. And we'll do this again in 2015. Sat Nam.